Hello everybody, welcome to the MCN for a Friday. Don't know why I went Irish then on the start point, but let's go and talk about Marvel Contest of Champions to be sure. First of all, kicking off with Act 9.1. It's in-game. We know it's in-game. Now, there's been some bugs here or there. Nothing's ever perfect in the world of Marvel Contest of Champions, and sadly I think that's going to be something that's going to continue on into the future and beyond. First of all, there is a reported bug of Act 9.1.3 Scourge Power Path. For anyone else who has attempted the Scourge Power Path on 9.1.3, does it feel like the defender's power meter is filling up way too fast? Before on the node description, they're only supposed to gain 0.5% of a bar of power per second for each Scourge charge on them, but once the defender I'm facing gets up to 4 Scourge charges, their power meter started filling rapidly, even though it should only be filling 2% of a bar per second. So yes, many people talking about this. Someone saying here, Serpent was a W for the path. Ended up using him almost every fight. Hype is decent there too. So yeah, someone said they gave up. I just gave up. I've had enough of it. Absolute dog water for me. And yeah, it seems to be a... yeah, not great for everybody, is it? Really not good. Honestly, for my part, I have no worries. Came back with 7-star rank 3, which helps a lot. Depends on stuff with Scorpion, SP1, and Provocation. Okay, so people are finding a way around it. But yeah, definitely noting on that. Checking with the team, waiting to see if there's anything more back on this particular subject. There's also an issue in 9.1.2. The bug is probably doing 100% bar of power per second per charges. Yeah, maybe Kabam can have a look at it and give us a bit of an idea. Also, Act 9.1.2 Tigra Path bug. I explored 100% of it, but still shows the Tigra Path is untouched. Should I explore it again? And yeah, happened the same thing to me. Even after I completed the path, it shows incomplete. Need compensation. Oh, compensation, I want it now. And maybe that'll be rectified, but it has been taken to the game team. So we'll see if 9.1 issues, and I'm not saying they're the only ones, there's probably some more in other places, but if you're experiencing any Act 9.1 issues, then say, hopefully Kabam can fix them. Kabam, I've got to fix a lot of things. Now, I think in the last MCN, we talked about compensation being something that we're still waiting on this final AQ glory, kind of like previous rewards from the last cycle of AQ level to your last AQ cycle rewards. Didn't really explain that too well, but there was this message here. This was the one from that we mentioned in the MCN, I think the other day, and also in a shorts that I did recently. Extra level compensation for the cancel week, and yeah, that should be for the previous AQ week. That is taken from, I can't find the forum post, but it's definitely there. Anyway, I'm sure people will be interested in an update on that, because people want to get that. They want to spend their glory. Of course, the limit of not being able to get your glory for about a week has been frustrating for a lot of players. Command Talk today said that, or said yesterday, compensation is in the works. As soon as I have more details to share about that, when and how, I'll be sure to share it. Now, I do think this will probably be coming in by the end of the week. It'd be weird if it wasn't in until Monday, unless they're going to wait and do double release, which we did talk about in the video, I think on Wednesday, of like Monday they release the AQ cycle, the raid cycle rewards for the, of course, leaderboard, and secondly, do this as well. Maybe easier for them to do, maybe not. We'll have to see what they can churn out for that, or they'll just handle it by end of play today to send out, or they'll do it over the weekend. Sometimes very rare to do it over the weekend, just in case anything goes wrong. And you know, with the current track record of things can go wrong on a weekend when you try and do stuff. And of course, there'll be people saying I got the wrong rewards, or wrong based on what they thought they were going to get, which again could have some, you know, connotations of things could be wrong, things could be right. This is the way in MCOC. Now let's cover a big topic, which is the state of communication within Marvel Contest of Champions. We seem to be like every MCN talking about a state of the game in some shape or form. For me personally, how I've seen it in the last week, it's been better. Does that mean that things are going to get better? Maybe. We don't know. We just had a good week of communication. Vintage doesn't seem to share that point, and of course there are people that do see it a different way, and that's fine. Vintage says, I'm actually starting to miss Kabam Mike, which would be an insane take a few months ago. The bugs are absolutely out of control, lack of clarity with compensation, etc. All the efforts going on with Y'all lately. Now, in this last week, we have found, like, people might not see every single post by Kabam where they're letting people know, and Kabam will actually respond back to this particular thread and kind of give some facts. If you don't know, there are areas in the forum where under MCOC team and news and announcements, Kabam are letting people know what's going on. But there are some things that have fallen off by the wayside. That's that element of communication between both departments. Again, to educate people that don't know, there's a community team, there's a game team. The game team are the people that deal with building the game, keeping the game running, art and all that stuff. That's the behind the scenes. The front side of the scenes is the community team, who are meant to communicate your bugs, your issues, your problems, and communicate back from the game team things like, oh, new announcements, things that are happening, and new content and stuff like that. If for whatever reason one doesn't communicate with the other, do you know what? You don't get any information. That's obviously if you didn't know like what the state of affairs were with it. Edison Law says, and by the way, yeah, again, like that doesn't really give it a pass to say like it's been great. In the last week, I've been able to find out more information. Granted, say the communication around compensation started to be a bit unclear, and maybe they should have stuck it to one post rather than going part 2, and then there was actually a 2 part 2s. Let's actually find that just kind of like just so I can point out like why it was a bit disjointed, because like I mean I know where to go to find the information, but then there's 2 posts there about compensation or raids and AQ update. But then the community team have to firefight with the fact that there was problems by the game team, and of course they get your frustrations. Like you have to, like, who do you complain about? You don't complain to the game team. You go and complain to the community managers or the community team to deal with the problem. That's how that works. But there are things that still need to be addressed. What's happening with the AI situation? Lag as well. I know inroads are being made about lag, but still it's been very quiet for a while on lag. Yes, there are things that we do need communicated, which I personally think are part of the fundamentals of the game. Fighting in game is the main thing you do in this game. If it's not functioning well, then you need to find out, well, how am I going to deal with it? Should I be playing this game any longer because of that? And that I agree that there needs to be better communication on that factors. But there have been some element of communication. I do agree that there could be some fallout from the whole kind of Mike and Jax leaving. Some people, I mean, like that, 12 people find that funny. I don't know why people find that funny. If I was given a job to do and I didn't know what I was doing in a 1 week to learn how this community functioned, because this team was fresh, a lot of them didn't know how you function, when there's patch notes to be delivered, when there's this information, go to here for this, and understanding the meetings, communication back to... It was a fresh learning experience, I definitely know, for Kabam and Pinwheel. So that's tough for people to come in within a week's notice. 2 community managers left that know everything about the game, and you're there picking up the pieces. You know, stronger men and women would have crumbled under that. But this is the thing, isn't it? The community do need information, and they need it quick. Anyway, what did Kabam say back to this? So if you're looking for comms from myself or the rest of the team, we've been posting about the major issues and bugs and known issues, front as well as news and announcements for the majority. On a smaller scale, we'll respond to posts with things we can answer. Many times you'll see this is a post from the MCOC team rather than a singular individual at times. If there are places you'd like to see us more, please let us know. And yes, the team is getting used to their roles as there quite a lot of ramp up to with a completely new team on a 10-year-old game. We'll do our best and continue to improve based on your feedback. And that is kind of the conversation I had in private with Dave about this, is that, you know, there's a bit of a learning curve, and, you know, Dave has been out of the game for a little while, but of course he is he's coming back. He's actually playing now. You can see him regularly, kind of like he's putting his money where his mouth is, and he's back playing the game. Anyway, Kabam Pinwheel says, definitely still learning as we go, but I'd agree with several folks in here that we are past the point of, oh, we just got here. We definitely are being paid to do a job, and also understand that lately there has been a succession of player affecting issues that have either been resolved slowly, not sufficiently. I'm certainly open to hearing suggestions of how we can improve, but just to counter things slightly, we did post multiple announcements re the raid issues last 2 weeks, and have been in the threads talking about the challenges with the AI. In fairness, I do not believe we have addressed 9.1.3, so I can look into that further and see what we can say. 9.1.3, I mean, from an issue standpoint, that's, you know, that's 24 to 48 hours after. I suppose they've got to do things like, would they do compensation, etc. Regardless, I think the issue probably less about what we are saying and more about the slow pace of fixes for certain issues recently. That's important as well. And as we said, like, if the game team can't go as fast as the issues that are being created, then that's a problem. That's something on Netmarble, and that's something on the CEO of Kabam to get sorted. Resource them better. That is something we absolutely hear you on, and frankly wish there was quicker, just like you. Raids are one of these, I think, magnifies things because of how big the mode is. Because of that, we attempted multiple fixes but eventually cancelling it because we wanted to avoid player disruption as best we could. However, it ended up delaying and challenging conversations around how things were being fixed and what were being comped, leaving potentially confusing shifting timelines coming from us during this process. We absolutely could have summarized things better after the fact. Funny enough that we were just going to mention that. Anyway, has TLDR hear from you? Yeah. So, like, hopefully, I keep on using hope, but it's like, if we don't have hope, then what are you aiming for? What are we doing here with this game? But it is. I really hope the game team are able to create some consistency around this 10th year that we're pushing to. I hope that, again, consistency around the fighting elements of this game, lag, AI, less input issues, but they could be there. The fundamentals of what makes this game good as a Marvel fighting game. And yeah, I just want to end this segment on this line right here, which is basically what we just said, but phrased in a different way. Love this update, but any news on how this relates to a host of in-fight issues, which is the key fundamentals of this fighting Marvel game. We've got to leave you on a bit of a funny thing. Like, we don't want to be a Debbie Downer going into the weekend, so let's have a bit of a funny thing to kind of end the week. So this player says, can someone in Kabam help me get unbanned? Yesterday I finished 8.1.6. When I closed the app and opened it back, it says I got permabanned. Can someone help me? I used 1 team revive, 6 single revives. I mostly used a 6-star rank 2 Apocalypse. Interesting. I used an iOS device, so from what I was aware, I don't use any third-party sites. Okay. Downloaded the game on the App Store. Fine. My only conclusion is that some hacker logged into my account and did something. Right. Okay. And at moments like this, we go to Kabam Crashed, who says, nah, you're cheating. You know it. And there we go. Ending you with a bit of a funny for a Friday. Hopefully Kabam get it together, but I think that's going to take a little while. I think they'll be looking forward to the end of the year and a bit of a break whilst they can retool, restructure, and think about how to improve things going into the new year. But we've got the 10th anniversary to look forward to and lots of things in game for the next foreseeable 3 months. Like bugs, 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 and more bugs. No, maybe they do. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.